Hello Summit, welcome back to my channel. I'll be showing us how to make this top in this tutorial. So the first thing I did was to mark all my measurement lines. So that's my shoulder line. I came down by 1 inch from the top of my paper. That's my chest line, my bust point, my half length and the full length. To get the full length, I came down from my half length by 4 inches. And to get my chest line, I came up from my bust point by 2 inches. So please, if you're folding your pattern paper, it should be folded in two, or your fabric, whichever one. So the first thing I did was to mark my neck width, which is 3 inches, and my shoulder width, that's my shoulder divided by 2. And then I came down from that shoulder point by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. So I connected that 1 inch to the 3-inch neckline, came down to the chest line, marked half of my shoulder measurement again, and then connected this to the shoulder slope, as you can see me do. So the next thing after that is to mark quarter of your bust measurement, and then measure what you have on that shoulder line, on that chest, from the chest line to the shoulder line. Find the middle, mark, and then come in by ½ inch. So this is a point. You're going to connect the 2 points to the shoulder point, as you can see me do. So after this, I'll be marking all my measurements. So I'll bring down the measurement on my chest line on my bust point. I'll be marking quarter of my waist measurement. I did the same thing to the full length. But what I did at the full length was I added an extra ½ inch to my waist measurement at that point. It's optional. You can just bring down your waist measurement there. But I did that because I wanted that tummy area to be a bit free. So I connected all my lines, and the next thing I did was to mark my neck width. So for my neck depth, I'll be using 3 inches. Remember the neck width we marked was 3 inches, so that's 3 inches by 3 inches. So the next thing I did after this was to use my tracing wheel to trace my shoulder line, my neck line, and my armhole. If you don't have a tracing wheel, just turn your paper to the other side and repeat this measurements you took on the other side. But if you have a tracing wheel, all you have to do is to just trace the armhole, shoulder line, and the neckline. So after that, I cut my side allowance, my side markings, and stopped at the chest line, just exactly as I did it. This is how you're going to do it, so that you'll be able to get that extension on the other side. So I noticed that the tracing that I traced did not show completely, so I'm going to retrace it so that I can see it properly and mark at the other side. After that, I opened it and I marked everything that all the lines on my tracing wheel gave, as you can see me do, thereby repeating the same thing that I had on the other side, on this side too. This is enable me get that sleeve extension on the off shoulder part. So I'm going to try to get which side I want to be the left, but it's not necessary, because on this top you can actually decide where you want the off shoulder parts of this to be. So on this right side, I reduced my shoulder measurement on that point by 1 inch and connected my armhole curve to it. This, you can leave it like the way it is if you want it to be a complete shoulder, but I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to look more like a sleeveless top on that part. So for this other side, the lower part, I came down by 4 inches from the shoulder line and connected from the 3 inches width at the right side to that 4 inches I came down there. You can do 3 inches, you can come down by 3 inches, you can come down by 5 inches. It all depends on how deep you want that place, but 4 inches is very okay. So after that, I'm going to measure how wide I want the width of the band on that side to be. So I used 2.5 inches and I came out from the armhole curve, as you can see me do, by 2.5 inches too. So I'm going to connect it into a straight line. If you're doing the long rope type, you can extend it as long as you want the rope to be. Thereby you're going to be adding more pattern papers on that side and then extend it to how long you want it to be. So I marked the same 2.5 inch on the down part there, and I connected and also connected it to the point on the armhole curve. So this how it's going to look. I'm trying to give it a little bit of a curve on that part because that's where your armhole would be. So after doing this, I'm going to cut it out. Before you cut out, don't forget to add 1/2 inch allowance on that neck line point. So this is so that by the time you turn your neckline with your lining or you fold it, it will not look shorter. So after cutting this out, I would be using this stretchy Lycra material for this. If you're using a stretchy material, you don't have to add allowance. I did not add allowance to this top. So as you can see me do, I folded this material into 2 as wide as possible that can accommodate the other side. So you're going to fold just into 2. This is not something you fold into 4. So after folding it into 2, I'm going to place it and then I would cut this out. Please, if you're using a one-way stretch fabric, watch out for where is the stretchy part so that it will be on your width grain. So I would cut this out and show us what next to do. So this is what I had after cutting. So the next thing I'll be doing is to fold a fabric that is as wide as my shoulder to my armhole curve. That's to my chest line or bust point on the other side. As you can see, this is so that I'll be able to use the facing to turn the armhole, the 2 armholes and the neckline comfortably. So you notice what I did here. So I didn't just use a facing for the neckline. I make sure the facing came below the armhole curve so that I'll be able to use it to turn my armhole too. So this is what I have. I will cut this into 2 so that it will be 2 pieces there. So the next thing is to mark front and back of my main piece. I'll separate it, and for each one I'll place my facing on it and I would pin. Make sure you pin, please. So after that, I would be stitching the armholes, the 2 armholes, the neckline. I've done that, and this is each one. To make this easier for yourself, use a hemming gum while stitching. I also hemmed the down parts of the tops with a hemming gum by 1 inch because I didn't want to see any stitching outside. So I'll place front and back, the 2 pieces together, and join it by the shoulder. I'll join it by this shoulder and the other shoulder, and I'll stitch the sides using 1 inch allowance. So after doing all that, this is the outcome of the top. Please, if you found this tutorial helpful, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.